The worst of India's second wave of COVID-19 appears to be over, but the world's largest vaccination rollout is struggling. Shortages have exposed not just India's widening income gap, but also a digital divide that's keeping millions from getting a dose. Neha Punya explains.
Getting vaccinated from the comfort of your car is a luxury, one that millions of Indians cannot afford. Across India, more than 230 million shots have been administered at private and government hospitals. But to get here, you need to get online first and register on this government portal using your laptop or a smartphone. Until last week, this portal was only available in English, a language 90% of Indians cannot read, write or speak. The government has now launched this in 10 regional languages, but because of a shortage of vaccines, only a handful of slots open up every day. So you also need access to a stable internet connection and time to keep trying your luck. These are things Raju Sahani does not have. He cannot read or write, doesn't own a smartphone, and hasn't been able to get a COVID-19 vaccine slot more than a month after India opened up its vaccination drive to all adults. Raju has been ferrying people to vaccination centers and hospitals, and as the only earning member in a family of 8, he desperately wants to get vaccinated.
डर तो लगा रहता है, डर तो बहुत ज़्यादा लगा रहता है क्योंकि एक के वजह से पूरी फैमिली जा सकती है, इसलिए डर तो हमें बहुत ज़्यादा लगा रहता है.
India has more than 600 million internet users, but just 30% of these are in rural India, where 2/3 of the country's population lives. During India's second wave, every second case has come from its villages, but vaccine uptake here is low. Government data shows that urban India has administered 1.7 times more doses than rural India.
I think it's a fundamentally flawed approach where we are still insisting on an app-based access to vaccines. This is not going to work in a country with the levels of poverty we have, with the levels of literacy we have, with the levels of lack of access to smartphones and internet we have in this country. So this must change, and the fundamental approach of the government must be to open up the vaccination drive for anyone who wants to come.
In an apparent bid to bridge that digital gap, the Indian government authorized walk-ins at vaccination centers 2 weeks ago, but not all regions have implemented this. Delhi's government says its officials will now go from door to door to register those above 45 years of age. They aim to vaccinate all Delhi residents in this group by the end of the month. But in a country that manufactures more vaccines than any other, there are still not enough shots. While the government gave free vaccines to the elderly and frontline workers, it asked states to procure doses themselves for those in the 18 to 45 age group. This meant regional governments competing against each other for limited vaccine doses. In response to mounting criticism, the Prime Minister has now suspended this policy.
कि राज्यों के पास वैक्सीनेशन से जुड़ा जो 25% काम था, उसकी जिम्मेदारी भी भारत सरकार उठाएगी. ये व्यवस्था आने वाले 2 सप्ताह में लागू की जाएगी.
So far, less than 5% of all Indians are fully vaccinated. The Indian government denies that unequal and patchy distribution of vaccines is a problem, but with warnings of a third wave, an acute shortage of vaccines and inequalities will make it harder for India to recover. Neha Punya, CNA, New Delhi.